another episode of. I almost called it something else that it really isn't. Alright, here I am back for another episode of the Mixed Nuts episodes. Yes, this one here is called Gigalo Tendencies. Go for. Alright, so with Gigalo Tendencies, basically the person in this one is called SC, aka Southern Charmer. And we're just, again, the format of these videos was explained in the introduction, so therefore you should not be surprised. Also, just in case so I do not forget, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you like the content, like it. Subscribe to keep up to date as I do post others. There are 6 chapters, possibly 7 that I may include, but for the moment there will be 6 chapters. They are not all uploaded at the same time, so if you'd like to stay up to date on when the next one is uploaded, hit that subscribe button and it will alert you. Also, for any other new content that I add to my channel, that subscribe button will keep you updated. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. So, just going straight through reading it, right? So SC was this big sucker that was around 6'5". I don't remember any tattoos. He was an older gentleman, nice and thick, born and raised in the South. He wouldn't have been my first pick at first sight, but he was a charmer, and I had every intention of seeing what that Southern hospitality was all about. Nothing more, nothing less. I was blown away many times by his physical talents, and this brought the hussy out of me, in which I was enjoying. SC made it a habit of calling me gorgeous or beautiful, as if it were the name given to me. He didn't live in Vegas. He lived about an hour and a half away in driving distance. It was perfect for me. I wasn't in the mood for any commitment with all that was going on, and I had school, I had work, yet I had someone that would drop everything at the drop of a dime just to come hang out with me and drive across state borders. Anywhere I asked him to go along with me, he was there. The more that we hung out and talked, the closer we became. My only complaint was that I realized that he was always in his damn phone. I was so excited that someone actually showed up when I invited him out that I totally ignored his constant attention to the phone. He had kids, so I made that a valid excuse. In regards to why I accepted the behavior or accepted the always in his phone behavior, is because he always showed up. Like, if you did tune into chapter 1 or the episode 1, you noticed that I dealt with a ghost. So dealing with the ghost to someone that was always there, it was a big change for me. I took him to a few of my work functions as my date. We took photos. We were great via photography and to the outside looking in. I received many compliments on how attentive he had appeared to my every need, when in reality, it was only every physical need that he was well attentive to. I remember sitting one night after a party with a few friends. We were around the pool drinking and talking about crazy stuff. The conversation turned a little risque, and I purposely just giggled and let him spill out about his openness sexually, and made a comment regarding what he would do to one of my lady friends that was there in attendance too. I thought to myself, damn, this motherfucker is a hoe. No. Let's see. I was also confused because I felt that he spent the majority of his time with me. Well, he spent the majority of his time with me. I had even brought this man around my family. Was he thinking of them in the same ways that he was thinking of this woman right here? Was he being inappropriate with them also? My mind was so jumbled. I met him with intentions of a physical relationship. He was always around for me. Every text, every phone call, every event, he was there. We had substantial conversations, and he expressed that he wanted me in his life. In his life, as in his one and only, or in his life as an addition to his roster? That was a question that I had to ask myself. I started finding ways to separate myself from him and begin to push him away. He noticed it and then brought it up in a conversation multiple times. I remember a night when he drove that good old 1.5 out just to see my face because he didn't believe my text expressing that I was okay. I think he was in shock when I didn't invite him into my place and spend the night. So that night, needless to say, I don't know whether he really did drive all the way back home or not, but he said he did. A few of my friends and family members started informing me of when they started seeing him around with different women, like out in public, right? He was posing in photos, was out to eat at different parties, lounges, all types of stuff. So I had to confront him because there were a few days when SC was proclaiming how much he started falling in love with me and then wanted to see how far we could actually take things seriously. But yet, why am I getting reports of you being in all these places with all of these other women? Like someone adding up for me. It's not cool. Don't tell me one thing and then do another. I entertained the thought because I thought perhaps our feelings were developing naturally. After I confronted SC, he disappeared for a few weeks and then contacted me asking if I'd participate in a menage. I remember many cuss words being expressed from my end. He did call a few days later to apologize. He said that he did something around the fact about how he felt he shouldn't have came at me like that as a lady and whatever. Yeah, that. We attempted to remain friends, which lasted for a few years. I got involved with someone else where I had started feeling abandoned in that relationship. My curiosity did take on to me. And so basically I wanted to feel important. I wanted to feel needed. And so in order to feel that way, I ended up contacting SC. I wanted to feel like the only woman, even if it was just for one night. That was my intent. So we chatted and caught each other up on our present lives. He told me about his girlfriend. I told him about my boyfriend at the time. He was always able to satisfy me fully, but that night in particular, it just felt different. He picked up on it. I remember asking him, I remember crying, my bad. I remember crying. And he basically was like trying to ask and figure out what was going on because me breaking down crying while he was in the act, it was kind of odd, right? I had so much stress going on, and you will find out in one of the other episodes if you could connect the dots, basically. So, yeah, I had a lot going on top of the fact of what was happening at that moment. So it just kind of became overwhelming emotionally. Trying to mask the pain rather than confront it is never a good idea. I remember being cradled and allowing myself to pour out a lot to SC about my current relationship, that in that moment I was holding it in. Like basically I was holding it in myself. I didn't even realize that I had so much bottled up. At first he was furious. Then he expressed his fear of being in my home, thinking, well, okay, your dude is about to come home any moment. No matter how many times I tried to reassure SC that he wasn't coming through that front door anytime soon, he refused to listen and practically darted out and left. I utilized that as a clear sign and left everything as it stood. I did talk to him a few times out the blue here and there throughout the years that passed or that followed. The last that I spoke with him, he was welcoming a grandchild. He was definitely older than me. I forgot to mention that, but yeah, he was welcoming a grandchild, which was, I want to say, like his second at the time, the last time that I did speak to him. I was able to tell him how I was no longer in that toxic relationship, so that was pretty cool. And then basically, at the end of me and SC, there was no bad blood, and no desire for the physical any longer, because sometimes you got to move past those types of behaviors. Basically, the lesson that I received from SC, he made me realize that I was beautiful, not fine, not a dime piece, but beautiful. Like, he made me appreciate the beauty that I had from internally and to the out, you know? And he treated me like a woman at every single time, every single encounter. He always made me feel like a woman, and I felt like a queen. At the end of the day, it didn't matter. He made sure that I felt like I could walk with my head held high and feeling great about myself. I also learned that having an exciting life in and out of the bedroom with your mate is very necessary. You have to keep that momentum going. Although what goes on in those moments should remain between you and your mate, you definitely want to make sure that you have them going on. Um, he also showed me that I was worth the quality time and that there was never to be an excuse from any man whatsoever of why he couldn't spend time with me. Driving from one state to the next just to see me. I'm not saying that every man should be driving from like across state lines to see a woman or not or anything, but basically it's just summarizing that there's nothing that could keep you away from communication with the person that you are interested in or that you love. I should have definitely kept that lesson in the back of my mind going forward with my other relationships, but needless to say, it's a lesson that I have not forgotten. And by not forgetting it, it has made things different in current times. So, I don't know. That is that. Stay tuned for the next episode. I believe the next episode. Oh, the next episode is called On the Road Lover, and that is dealing with the milkman. So, tune into that, and then we will catch up later. Bye.